Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the one, the only Alcor Star Child here, and I made a video earlier about CERN, but it was short and it was not really getting to all the points that I needed to make. So I'm going to remake this video for you guys, and it's going to be a lot longer video. The earlier video I made was like 5 minutes. This video is probably going to be well over an hour, so buckle in because this is CERN 1972 all over again. If you didn't know that CERN, well, first off, if you don't know about CERN, you need to go look it up. You need to be concerned with CERN. And there's also some plays on 1972 words with CERN because of the fact that the last man to walk on the moon in 1972 was Gene Cernan. You know, CERN, which is CERAN. So it's the same thing, CERN. In 1972, CERN had a 1,000 time spike, an unexplained spike in power. Now, I'm going to show you something that's this is evidence. Whenever a company tries to cover something up, but the toothpaste is already out of the bottle, and some people have already caught it and picked up on it and have already recorded it and got the documentation, and then you see that the company goes back later on and they try to cover up something, then you start to say, okay, well, there's definitely some significance there. And I already explained to you that we are back in 1972 as of this year. Once again, I'll explain it again. You know, it's been 50 years since 72, so everything that's happening this year that's connected to 1972 makes it a 50-year anniversary. And if you take the number 50 plus 22, you have the number 72. And 72 times 5 is 360, which is a full 360-degree circle, taking you all the way back around, which, by the way, incidentally, is what CERN does too as well. Is this going to be CERN rewinding the clock? When they fire this thing up, is it going to take us back to 1972? I don't know. Like completely reverse time altogether. I have no idea. I'm not going to speculate like what you're going to hear a lot of people talk about the event that's going to be happening. They'll speculate things that have to do with biblical, things that have to do with, Islamic beliefs, things that have to do with Judas beliefs, things that have to do with Wiccan beliefs, and all kinds of crazy different beliefs, and Scientology beliefs, and all these other things. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show you the evidence and show you the facts, things that you can research yourself. But I'm going to show them to you here, instead of giving you all these crazy speculations. Now, when I talk about a time hack, I show evidence that the timeline definitely was manipulated. One, we know about the Mandela effect and the Illuminati cards and the Simpson episodes and so forth. So there's a lot of things to tell you that your timeline definitely has been messed with, right? Well, obviously, during 1972, CERN had a crazy event that happened when the timeline was hacked. So what you're looking at right now is actual CERN's website. I'm showing you here CERN's website. If you look at the top, it says Home CERN, and so it's it's their website. So I'm not going anywhere else. And people speculate about there being 3 6s in their logo. If you look at it, it has a circle and a line, a circle and a line, a circle and a line. But wait a minute, there's another circle and line and another half line here. So when you see these people posting these images of it just having the 3 lines and showing 666, those are people who are creating hoaxes. They are dishonest people. You cannot listen to these people because they're obviously being dishonest about what they're presenting. They're not giving you the actual fact. And what people do is they'll run around and regurgitate that. And they'll say, here it is, because they've seen it on somebody else's website. I'm showing you from their website, period, from their website, that it is not 3 6s. It's not 666. If anything, would be considered 4 6s, if you want to say, and maybe a half a 6. I don't know. But, there's one thing that we know that people have made hoaxes about. And because of that, they've made all kinds of other hoaxes. That it's a tunnel going into hell and all these other stupid, nonsensical things without any evidence. Now, there are weird things that go on at CERN, and I'm not saying they're not. There's bizarre things that should not be happening for the type of science that they're portraying, right? Like these rituals that are happening that are mixing in with the science muddies the water, makes things very peculiar, makes people say, hey, what the hell is going on? The Eye of Sauron fixates on that and says, hey, there's something happening here, something of significance. So anyhow, let's get back to it. So, as you see, CERN, its origins are December 9th, 1949. Well, what was going on during 1949? Oh, that was the end of World War II. How bizarre that was the origins when Operation Paperclip was going on, which happened under who? Harry S. Truman. By the way, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to show you something real fast. I'm going to click over here to Harry Truman's page. So, Harry Truman, and I know I always go back to him because I'm sorry, guys, he's not human. Sorry. He's a hairy man, right? Harry S. Truman. And I told you before at the S and all that. I'm not going to go through all this stuff on Harry Truman. You can look that up. There's a reason why there's a lot of people who don't speak about Harry S. Truman. There's a really good reason why. When you start noticing people who are in the UFO community and stuff like that, and they talk about Roosevelt and they talk about who was the president after Harry Truman? I forgot what that damn guy, Ike, whatever. I think they called him Ike or whatever. Anyhow, when they talk about, but they rarely ever talk about Harry S. Truman, there's a reason why. He was part of a certain club, and they're not allowed to talk about a guy in a certain club. And he was, he made it to the highest degree in that club, and he is the 33rd president. And he became the 33rd president because of the death of a sitting president during World War II. But here's what I want to show you. He became president in 1945, wasn't elected in as president, became, like I said, president because of the death of a president. And he was president till 1953. So we see these things right here, 1945 to 1953. Now let's go back to CERN. Now CERN's origins, like I said, is in 1949, which would have been during Truman's presidency. If we click over to the next page, and this is on their thing, if we click over the history of CERN, you click next, and you're going to see on May 5th, 1952, early beginnings. This is when CERN really kicks off and begins in 1952. Well, I just showed you, here we go, Harry Truman was president until 1953. What happened in 1952 while Harry Truman was president and while CERN was being kicked off? Click over here. Let's see here. 1952 Washington, D.C. UFO incident. So from July 12th to July 29th, oh, wow, isn't that crazy? We're in July right now, and what's happening? CERN is kicking up. From July 12th to July 29th, 1952. Around the time, May, June, July. So only a few months after CERN kicked open. After they began, a few months later, these UFOs popped up over the White House during Harry S. Truman's presidency. And I don't think I need to read all that. You guys can read it for yourself. Look, the fact is there was UFOs that kept popping up over the White House. It wasn't a one-off. It wasn't one day. It was going throughout the week or something like that. So you can look and do the research on that yourself. But it's also very peculiar because Harry Truman he left the White House for a couple of years. He actually wasn't in the White House for a few years. I think 1949, is actually when, I'm not going to pull it up right now, but I'm pretty sure like around 1949 was when he left the White House. And then he came back into the White House in 1952 after there was renovations and stuff done to it, which turned it into a White House, into a White Fortress. And that's really what they did. It turned it into a fortress. So I know it seems like it's kind of often, but you guys gotta follow along this story here. Follow along. Just keep along this things with the timeline because it's all very important. So 1952 was our early beginnings. So when we go over to here and we look at, let's see here, CERN's 40th anniversary, right? 1972. So when I type in 1972 CERN, because I wanted to show you guys, the thing that showed that there was a 1,000 times spike in power, an unexplained spike in power that happened in CERN in the year 1972, and they couldn't understand why. So so I typed in 1972 CERN. I go down and I go through the list, and guess what, guys? They covered, I can't find it anywhere. It's like they removed it from online, from you seeing that there was an unexplained event that happened during that year, 1972. Now, why would they cover that up? And the other thing is, too, like when you go to 1972 CERN, so you, as you can see, I'm showing you here on the list that there's nothing that talks about an unexplained event. Now, here's the kicker. I posted a few different videos already, and I'm going to show you when I get done talking here. I'm going to show you one of my videos that I posted last year when I actually went out to Fermilab in Chicago, which is part of CERN, and they have a hadron collider there. And I'm going to show you when I went out there. I'm going to show you the evidence that was on CERN's page on their website, because they just changed their website, guys, and they took that off. They took that information down. Why would they take that information down? Now, when you go back to, so I'm going to go here, back to their page, and I'm going to go 1952, and keep going 53, 54, just keep going until we get to 71, 71, 72. And now all they talk about in 1972, because it goes from 72 to 74, there's nothing really of that much of significance in 73, or at least now they've covered that up too. But in 1970, and you're going to hear fireworks going off in the background because this is the 4th. In 1972, this is all they talk about now, is that CERN becomes one of the touchscreen pioneers. Yeah, that's right. So you thought touchscreen was new, like everybody thought it was new. Well, guess what? They were using touchscreen in 1972. And it was one of the pioneers of touchscreen, which is in 1972 at CERN. So there's another 1972 first thing. So if I click this know more down here to read more about it, it doesn't talk anything about it. I already went through this. It doesn't bring up anything about the unexplained event. The only thing it talks about is the touch screen. But here's something I do want you to pay attention to. So if I go down here, it says the screen was blah, blah, blah. So here's what I want to show you in here, which has some significance, is find enough 80, and then I don't know what the hell that is. This is some type of equation, but I want you to pay attention to these numbers. 80 whatever the hell that is, and significantly far apart from 80 to be invisible. So what I want you to pay attention to here is that 80-80. And why is that 80-80 an important thing? Well, let's see here. Let me see if I can find it. Alcor. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but here we go. Like with the Alcor star, 80 Ursa minor majors or whatever, and then we have 80 UMA. So and Alcor, the Alcor star, also has this 80-80 thing that's going on, which is you remove the zeros, you have the 8-8, which is one of those things I was like, okay, is there some connection there? And also, you know, with the Anunnaki book, and they talk about for time travel, it's this significant number of 888, which I've talked about with my birth and the whole thing with the 8 pounds, 8 ounces on the 8th house of the Scorpio, which is 888. So, yeah, they definitely have covered up the event that happened in 1972 with CERN. Hold on one second. I'm trying to find where I was there. And there is this thing here, which is not that big of a deal. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I don't know why this equation of 80-80 is such a big deal, because I don't understand the science of it. Like it says in the 1972 song, Rocket Man. All the science I don't understand. I'm just a rocket man. But yeah, so 80-80. So I don't know what the hell that has to do with it. But the fact is that they go from just talking about the touchscreen and going right into 1976. So they completely skipped all the unexplained. They completely skipped the unexplained event. They took it out of their website. I am going to show you in a video. I'll repeat this again. I'm going to show you in a video that I posted last year while I was at Fermilab, while I went to Fermilab, tried to get in there. They wouldn't let me in. They were letting everybody else in, but for some reason, they were told not to let the guy in the van in. So I'm going to show you in a video on their website, guys, that it showed that 1972 there was an unexplained event. It's just like they covered it up. Why would they cover that up? So, all right, so we've seen the connections with the Alcor star. You've seen the connections with the 80-80, and you see that they did a cover-up. Now, here's something else that's also bizarre, and this is one of the things that, this is the reason why, and I'm going to click over here now. What does that say right there? It says human, and you can see that word right there, staged at CERN, home of the God particle. Oh, there's something else I forgot to pull up too. Before we go to this video, and I'll show it to you. Actually, I'm not going to bring it up. I'll show it, and it's in the other video. Look, 1972, the God particle, if you look up 1972, the God particle, you'll find a huge significance to that too. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and play this video now and let you guys check it out so you can see this. You can see what this says. And this is one of the reasons why people freak out. Now, here's the thing. This may not have been staged. They may just said it was staged because, oh man, we got caught. It's like that whole thing where they said, oh, when we were doing this thing here, was not Bilderbergs, or what was that thing, that Grove or whatever, and they said, oh, it was a bundle of sticks wrapped up in a blanket. Did anybody walk over there and open that blanket up to show it was a bundle of sticks? No. They said, oh, it looked like a human, but it was just a bundle of sticks. So these things could be what they are, and they may not have been what they were said later to be. You know, this. It could have been really this. Now, why is that going on there? I have no idea. I don't know. It is bizarre. And this is one of those things, is the reason why people freak out when you start talking about CERN. Because these things have no business, or should have no business, to have anything to do with the type of science that they're doing, which is to be looking at particles and stuff like that. It has no business to be doing with that, you know. And the fact that, you know, the machine is also, too, it is a 172 phenomena, because CERN is 17 miles long. And it collides two particles to give you the God particle, 172. And out of that 172, you get God particle, or whatever, the Higgs boson particle. So I'm going to go ahead and play this real fast for you guys so you can check it out. And they don't really show anything here, just so you know. So it's not graphic. And that's the person recording that you can hear talking. They freak out.
What the?
So yeah. So there is some weird stuff that goes on in CERN. But my whole thing right now is, for me, is why are they covering up the 1972? So when I go to 1972, why all they talk about now is just the touchscreen, and why are they not? And here's that, 1972, a 4-ring 800 MeV booster is completed to increase the injection energy of the PS with the booster and the new I don't know what the hell that is, which starts operation in such and whatever. Anyhow, so they remove the phenomena. Why did they remove it? And as I've shown you already before, this year, and as well as in 2020, because that's when all this started, but now we're definitely back in 1972. And a lot of my predictions have been coming true, and they're only predictions because I'm looking at the 1972 stuff. But is something going to happen at CERN? Let me finish going through my list up here of things. Oh, and I'm going to play this other video of this guy real fast, and I want you to listen to what he has to say. And I'm going to cut in, and he has a good channel. You should go on there and subscribe to his channel. It's The Real BP Earth Watch, and I pay attention to a lot of his stuff often. He talks about a lot of different scientific stuff, mainly stuff that has to do with the sun and stuff, and he's very intelligent. I look past the Christian stuff. That's just his beliefs. You know, he has the Anunnaki bird head there, but whatever. So what's going to happen what's going to happen tonight? Because it is tonight that it's going to happen. Although they say it's going to be the 5th, and he's going to explain that here, but it's actually, it's going to be the 5th for Switzerland and France, but it's actually going to be the 4th for America when they fire it up. In fact, they're about to fire it up real soon here. So what's going to happen? I don't know. But here's what I'm going to tell you that I'm 100% sure is going to happen. Something big is going to happen. Something of mass significance is going to happen when they fire this thing up. Whether the humans know, because I heard they're supposed to do this live, whether the humans know or understand or being explained to what has happened when they do it is irrelevant. What's relevant is the scientists there are going to know exactly what happened. So you may not get the truth of what they just discovered or what happened. Nobody may not get the truth outside of that laboratory, or people that don't understand. But inside that laboratory, I guarantee you that something big is going to happen in the next few hours when CERN is fired up. When this Large Hadron Collider is fired up, which I already told you is a 172 event, and I already told you it's connected to 1972. Something massive, something of significance is going to happen. Whether you get to see it or understand what happened or not, it doesn't matter. Just like they just recently covered up the 1972 thing. Because I've been showing for the past 2 years, since 2020, since I started looking into it, that it has a 1972 significance because of the unexplained event that happened. But I'm going to play his video real fast for you. I want you guys to listen to this. This is important.
Guys, you're looking at live images tonight from CERN. Again, it's the third here, but notice in the top left at the timestamp, because the universal time is ahead of us by about 5 or 6 hours, depending on if you're East or Central, that it is July the 4th there at 0100 hours, right? Now, it's 6:06 here, so they are technically 7 hours ahead of us in Central Time. What does that mean? That means they're saying on the 5th, which would be Tuesday to us, that they're going to run the highest power they've ever run at CERN. And you're going to see that it will actually still be the 4th here in the U.S. And why I'm not sure, but they are celebrating that on July the 4th, 10 years ago, they discovered the Higgs boson particle called the God particle. So they're celebrating that. Again, I'm going to put some links in here.
Okay, so I want to pause there for a second. So he talks about how this is a celebration for the 2012 God particle, right? When they found the God particle in 2012. That event is directly connected to the year 1972. And that's because if you look it up, and you look up the God particle 1917, oh gosh, all right, hold on one second, I'll look it up. So as you can see right here, the man behind the God particle, Higgs says the first he knew of the particle having acquired his name was after a conference at Fermilab in something, Illinois, in the year 1972. And you can see here, you could just go, there's plenty of confirmation, plenty of websites that talk about Higgs boson and the confirmation of that in the year 1972. So the Higgs boson particle is the God particle connected to the year 1972. That's when they gave it confirmation. That's when they first called it the Higgs boson at the conference of 1972. And then in the year 2012 is when they found it. So that event is directly connected to the year 1972. So let's continue.
That you can go and actually watch the 2-day celebration, and then they're going to end it with cranking up CERN, they're saying, to the highest power they've ever used. And we're going to take a look at that article. But first, just so you understand what we're looking at here, this is live, and you're looking at 2-hour increments starting earlier of them running the blue and red beam 1 and beam 2, very high. 2 hours, drop it down for about an hour, 2 hours, keep it up, 2 hours here, and it was actually one before that. And then the black line takes over. What the black line is the power that both of these beams generate. In other words, once they get it up to their level, we start seeing that power level increase. They have to get there and start doing their thing, and then the power gets up there. Right now, if you look at it, they are down. Nothing is overheated, but they're not getting a good injection from the beginning of the whole process, where they strip the electrons and stuff down and start the beams. And that's why you're seeing low levels on beam 1 and beam 2, and a short spike in the power, but now they're back very low. My concern, it's not really concern, but they're saying they're going to reach record levels of energy on the 5th, hour 4th. But the numbers are really, I think they're off a little bit, because I've seen that much power, and you guys have seen that much power before. And if you look at this, let me just kind of draw a line across here. This is 7 tera electron volts right there, which is 7,000 giga-electron volts. That's a little below the top of the scale. And so you can see they're nearly reaching that all day. But they want it sustained. But if you look back on about 2 or 3 videos of mine from CERN, you will see that they had sustained all of these blue and red lines, beam 1, beam 2, and the black line, all the way across the board at this level. Let's kind of draw it across here, make sure we're not getting too high right in there. And we're very close to 6.8, or if we're not breaking that, tera electron volts per beam. So you add that together, say if you had 6,000 giga-electron volts, or 6 TeV, tera electron volts, each beam, as they come around, they're trying to get them to collide, you double that. So that would be, if you're getting 6 tera electron volts, you'd be getting 12 with the power from both of them. They've been getting stronger than that, even back in 2018 when they shut this down. Now, if you remember, we've looked at this particular chart several times, and a lot of times you'll see a beam in the middle, but remember, all of that's down right now. Your timestamp, again, they're in July the 4th at 1:12 UTC time. That's 1:12 a.m. in the morning there. Again, it's 6:12 here, Central Time. That would be 7:12 on the East Coast. But there's no dots in here. There's no beams going right now.
Okay, so you just heard he said at 7:12 East Coast. So is he talking about that's when they're going to fire it up? Is at 7:12 East Coast? Well, East Coast is where the Fermilabs is in Chicago. And 7:12 is, I know you guys know I'm going to go through the numbers. It's a 172 number. So I don't know if he's talking about that's the actual time right now that he's recording, or if he's talking about that's the time that this is supposed to happen at 7:12. So if that's true, then an Eastern time would be, and I wonder also too, is something going to happen with the CERN here, with the Fermilabs here? Are they doing something at the same time? Like, is something going to be going on with their Hadron Collider? Well, anyhow, I want to finish playing this video because I want you to, I'm not going to play the entire video. I'm just going to play it up to a certain point here because there's it's of significance I want to talk about.
Now let's go to what's called page 1, and it kind of gives you the last few hours of what we were looking at on the project page with all the spikes that we saw every 2 hours. But you can see that the black line is very low in power. The red line is at 0. The blue line is not even showing. What are they saying here? It says beams, bottom left, beam unstable in booster. Next scrubbing will be at, with 2 times 72 BPI. Now, beam is unstable in the booster. What does that mean? The booster is when, if I'm not mistaken, some of you guys may know more about this than I do, but again, when they are stripping back the electrons, protons, whatever it is that they have to create these beams and then supercharge them in this booster, they are unstable there. Maybe because they've been practicing really hard lately for this run that they're going to try to impress the world with. Now, will that be strictly for fundraising, or will it be in the sense that they know they're going to reach much higher power than what they're talking about? Because I've seen them spike at the power that we're about to read about. Let's go to their site.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. So, as you see, where he said, and I want you to pay attention to these numbers right here. Did you catch that? 2 times 72. And what is 2 times 72? Well, now we have 72 twice, right? We have 1972, which is 72, and now this year, which I already told you is 72 all over again, 2 72s. And if you, 72 times 72 is what? 144. And where do you hear the 144? If I'm not going to bring it, is what it is. You guys should know about the 144. I mean, they talk about 144,000, but for some reason that 144 has a significance. And if you break that down in halves, you have 72. 1972, and now we have 2072 or whatever the hell. This 72 all back all over again. So yeah, I wanted you guys to hear what he had to say there, because it has significance. There's significance of the time that this thing's supposed to fire up. If it's supposed to be fired up at 712, that's a 172 number. I showed you that there's the 88, which is involved with CERN, and he shows you here that there is going to be this 2 times 72. And they're talking about, they're trying to hit a max power, a power that they've never hit before. Well, in the year 1972, CERN had a 1,000 times spike that they couldn't explain. So if I go here and you look up on this next page, you can see here, because I keep talking about CERN and Fermilab. Well, you can see on their website, on CERN's home website, it says CERN's American sibling Fermilab turns 50. And this was back in 2017, just so you know. That's when that was posted, which what happened in 2017. What happened in 2017? Well, there was a ton of Mothman sightings in Chicago, which is where Fermilab is. So there was a bunch of Mothman sightings there during the time that machine turned 50. The time that the Fermilabs there turned 50. And I told you, I went out to Fermilabs. And if you look here on this page, if you look up Fermilab, you can see they have I don't know if it's a large hadron collider or it's just considered a hadron collider, but you can see it right there. They show you their hadron collider. They have one here. And what does that also look like? That also looks like the ring around Tony Stark's chest that he has that gives him all that power, right? From Iron Man, which is also bizarre. But the other thing is too, if you look, and when I went out to CERN, when I went out there, I completely freaked out because I could not believe that the lab, the building there, looks identical to the Atari logo. And I told you about all this 1972 stuff and the 1972 stuff that happened at CERN. Why did they build the building to look like the Atari logo? And if you look at, and here it is. Here's the Atari logo right here. And Atari was founded in the year 1972. Let me see if I can find it here. Here it is right here. Atari was first incorporated on June 27th, 1972. And this has been their logo ever since. And if you look at Fermilab, it's identical, man. It's the Atari, which all this stuff could add up to say, hey, we are in a simulation. These things are the hearts and the brains of the computer simulation that we're in, that you actually can see them, that there they are, right? But I don't know if I truly believe that for sure, but there definitely is something very bizarre going on that has to do with the timeline and has to do a lot to do with CERN. And there's the logo, and as I showed you, the Higgs boson particle, 1972. So anyhow, guys, yeah, is something going to happen tonight when this thing goes off? Yes, something will happen. You better bet your ass that something big is going to happen. For sure, 100% bank on it. Is it going to take us back into the year 1972? I don't know. I'm not saying that it is. But what I am saying is that something major is going to happen when they fire it up. Is it a weapon that they're using to shoot out into space? I have no idea. The last time when they said when the tall whites came here was in 72, if this is 72 all over again, are they expecting, well, you saw the book 2022 that the Anunnaki are supposed to return. Does this mean that they got the machine ready to fire to try to combat the Anunnaki or try to do something to the planet to stop the Anunnaki from coming here? Is it something as CERN working with the Anunnaki? I have no idea. These are all just questions. These aren't things of me telling you that these things are going to happen. I'm just giving you some food for thought on what's going on with CERN. This may very well be the last video that I'll be able to even post. Who knows what's going to happen? But for sure, 100%, something is going to happen with CERN. And with that, enjoy the rest of the time you have left and listen to this video. I'm going to post the next video up, and I want you guys to pay attention to it because this was actually when I went out to Fermilab in Chicago last year. And with that, enjoy the rest of the time you have left. Right there is the Large Hadron Collider. Yep, that's where I'm at, guys. I am in Chicago, just outside of Chicago, and what you're seeing over here to this direction over here, behind all that wooded area, is actually the Large Hadron Collider. They said that you can do tours here to actually go into the thing, but they, as of 2020, what's this here? It's all a bunch of workmen doing stuff. Tunnel right back there, right where we just went past. They're over there working in a tunnel, right, like literally right what you just saw, where all those trucks were. If you could have looked down from the vantage point as I'm driving by, you'd have saw that there was a dirt tunnel there. But this is it. This is we're coming up to the CERN right now, and I figured I'd just record it. Aurora. Is that what that said? Aurora town limits or something? I don't know. But yeah, I figured I'd just film it as I pull up. I literally am expecting nothing to happen at all. I'm not expecting anything grand. I'm not even expecting to get inside, even though they said that they do tours there. It said that in 2020, although they were able to build some upgrade to CERN, but in 2020, due to the COVID, they aren't doing tours until the restrictions are lifted. So I'm really not expecting anything. Just gonna go and see what happens. See, at least to say, hey, I went there. I went to where CERN was at. And if you don't know why I'm going to CERN, why I'm going here, is because of the fact that 1972 there was an unexplained, and there was another gate right there to get into CERN, another back gate. This whole thing is it. There's a giant gate right in this whole area. See, it's all restricted. And now we come up to some homes, and we got to go up and around to go back in there. But over there's so who are these people? Who are the people that live here at the Savannah? Those have to be all CERN employees. Like, who is living right next to the Large Hadron Collider? Like, it's right there. Like, it's all that tunnel stuff is all right here. Look, they got all this stuff here. Who lives there? Who lives in those homes? Like, right next door to the place. Like, I mean, right next door to it. You're gonna see when I get up here and I turn and go around. You're gonna see where it's at. And later I'll show an overhead view if you don't look it up yourself. But if you look up the, I think, is this it? Oh, shoot, no, not there. If you look up the, I forgot what the name of the place is called. There's another name for it. But if you look up the Large Hadron Collider in Chicago, you can see the overhead view of it. It's a number 8. And you can see where I'm at. Right here, you can see where I'm at. So anyhow, in 1972, there was a 1,000 time unexplained spike in power. And a lot of you are probably tired of hearing me say this, but that's why I'm here. Yeah, that's why I came out here to the CERN. 1,000 time unexplained spike in power. You can look that up on CERN's website. It was in 1972. You can also look up when the land contract was signed between France and Switzerland. It was right after that, 1972, which tells me, because they were trying for, I think, like 2 years before 1972, like in 70, 71, they were trying to get that land contract to be signed. between France and Switzerland. It just wasn't going through. But then all of a sudden this, you know, unexplained event happened where it's just like this boom, and this Hadron Collider that I'm at right now, like, just came alive. Like, something just came alive in it, and because of that, they were able to push that. They were able to get the contract signed in 1972 for the land contract for the Super Hadron Collider, which in 1972 was when Higgs, god dang it, I can't remember what his first name is, but his last name's Higgs. His research on the God particle, which is called the Higgs boson, was completed in 1972. And then after that, they create the Large Hadron Collider over in France and Switzerland. And then in 2012, they discovered the God particle, which is what Higgs was saying was possible. Right? Like, he was saying that before 1972. But in 1972, it says something about, like, the research or whatever, like, was concluded in that year. The same year that this Large Hadron Collider came alive, right? And I literally mean it's like it just woke up and it came alive. I don't know why that thing's saying 55. I'm doing 45. Oh, it's picking up that truck there. But it's all like, I don't know if this is parted over here, but where we were at earlier was over there. Here, I don't know. I can't really see what that stuff is back there, but that's all like factory stuff. And I bet you that big building right there is where we're going to. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and that's all connected. And, you know, my last name, you know, involves Higgs, H-I-G-G-I, you know, S. it's just, what are the odds? Freaking odds. Born in the same year, 1972. I was born in the year that this thing came alive. I was born in the year that a scientist named Higgs was talking about the God particle. I was born in the same year when all this stuff was going on. And I'm the only one talking about the 1972 time hack, pretty much, so it's whatever. I think, is this it here? Is this where I turn at? What does that say there? I don't know. I think this is where I turn at. Fermilab, that's what it's called. And that's where we're at. Who is that guy? Is he a scientist? Oh, let's see if they're going to let me in. They might not even let me in. They got a guard out there and everything. Yep, this is Fermilab. So if you go to the one in France and Switzerland, the CERN out there, you'll see that they have a be prepared to stop. For bicycles included. Okay, you can ride your bicycle in here. You'll see that they have the Shiva at that one there. Let's see. Do I need my mask on to speak with you?
What was that?
Are they still doing tours or no?
No, this is close to the public.
Oh, how do I get to where they're doing the tours at?
I'm not sure, but this area is close to the public.
Oh.
You gotta make a U-turn right here.
Oh, okay. Because I saw online it said that they do tours.
Okay, there might be a contact number there as well.
This is CERN. The CERN is here.
I'm not sure, but it's not making U-turn here.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna try to. And that's about as close as I could get. She said she wasn't sure. Is there any other way to get to Fermilab? So there's no way to do tours or anything or speak to anybody there? Completely closed to the public. All right, thanks. So it's closed to the public, but there are people that are coming in here and they won't. It's all scientists and stuff. You gotta have a card, and that's it. That's as close as they'll let me go. But for those of you who want to know about Fermilab, look it up. Fermilab is where she's instructed to say that. Like, how could she not know? She's working security. How could she not know that? Oh, here you go. Look, right there. There it is. Do you see? See See the big figure 8? Right there. Fermilab. So the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm over here near CERN and my ears are ringing now. Oh, by the way, I will let this play because as we come up here to where they're digging over here at this tunnel on this outskirts, I'm going to try to get I'm going to point the camera over that way more so you guys can see. I'm going to roll down this window so it's going to be a little loud. But this trip has been fruitful. I think I've gotten some things out of it. But I'm not done yet. I'm here for 72 hours. So, okay, right here. I'm going to film this here so you guys can see. Everybody in this town has to know that CERN is there. There's no way you wouldn't know. Like everybody knew where Oak Winfrey lived. Which I'll talk about that later. So right down in there. See it? See? They're digging a tunnel down in there. They're digging a tunnel right there. And right where I'm at, like over here on this side, you'll see it's all restricted area. Like all back in there is restricted area because that's part of the CERN. That's part of the 8. The Large Hadron Collider in America, the one that is here in America, is right there. And that's right where I'm at in Chicago. That's one of the reasons why I came here too, but I didn't want to tell anybody. Can I turn this way? I don't think you can turn. I think, so, see right there, see it's a restricted area. That's how big it is. And you guys have seen how far I just drove around from from Fermilab. And you've seen that big old, like, that big tower, that little castle that they got back there. But right there, that's how big, you've seen this whole drive around. That's how big of an area that they have for the LHC. It's right there. And you cannot go back there. They can go back there. That's it. I've never seen anybody post a video of this. Not once. Maybe there are videos out there of it. I haven't seen it. But I'm here because of the 1972 time hack. And CERN has a lot to do with it. Right where we're at, right here, right now. Okay, another quick little video here, since I wasn't able to get up to Fermilab, but you could see the tower that I showed from, from a distance. You can kind of see it. So here you go, and I don't really have a lot of time to do a lot of editing. That's the tower right there, right? Like you see that? Wait, there it is. That's the tower right there. What does that look like to you? And by the way, here's what's inside of there. There you go. The figure 8. A Large Hadron Collider here in Chicago, right down the road from where I'm at right now. What does that look like to you? What does that look like to you? Now remember, 1972 is when the CERN came alive. 1972, Atari was created. But everybody thinks I'm fucking crazy, and nobody's ever been able to disprove all these facts, but that's it. There it is. Look at it there. Again. And again. Fermilab. Atari. Fermilab. Atari. I mean, how much more? It's like, what more proof do you need? There it is. And there are videos, I did look, and there are videos that show tours of Fermilab. So go look them up. Go look at the tours on Fermilab. And go look up 1972 CERN. Right? Go look it up. I'll type it in right now. Released in 1972. Atari. 1972. We go over here to CERN. Geneva was selected as the site for the CERN laboratory at the third season, or session, whatever the hell. The CERN convention established financial contributions 11 March 1972. This only happened because of the event in 1972 at CERN, the unexplained event. Let's see if I can find it here. Anyhow, you guys can look it up. You go on CERN's website and look up 1972 and you'll see where it says that the thing came alive, that there was an unexplained event. So yeah, there's all this stuff here. Like, this is when, you know, the CERN, and these are all pictures from 1972, where I'm at right now. Tell me that they didn't know when they created this, when they built this, they could have made their towers look in any kind of way. In any kind of way, right? Tell me that they didn't know. Any kind of way they could have looked. They could have built all different types of designs. ...1972 Atari. Yeah, people think I'm crazy. I was just there, like literally, like right outside here. And I was born 8 pounds 8 ounces, and CERN is a figure 8. It's a figure 8. And I was born the year that this thing came alive, and the year that the Atari was created. By the way, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said, hey, you know, rat, Atari is AI rat. If you didn't know about that, artificial intelligence, AI, and in the middle is rat backwards, R-A-T, AI rat. Created 1972. CERN came alive, and their Large Hadron Collider for Switzerland was signed, so they got the funding and everything to go through with it. And 11 March 1972. And like I said, if you go to CERN's website, gosh, yeah, I'm not going to do it right now, but if you go to CERN's website and you look on there and you go and look it up, you'll see on the website, you go to the year 1972, and they'll say in there that there was an unexplained spike in power of 1,000 times. They couldn't explain it. They don't know what happened. They don't know how it happened. For some reason, the machine that they've been running, you know, all of a sudden, boom, just comes alive. And everybody talks about the one in France and Switzerland. Well, there's one here in America, and guess what? This is where it started. Started here. This is it. It was this Hadron Collider. This is the one. The 1972 Atari CERN. See, this shit is all connected. It's like, okay, so in the last man to walk on the moon, hold on. Last man to walk on the moon was Gene Cernan. Right here, astronaut. Gene Cernan was the last man to leave his footprint on the moon. CERN. C-E-R-N. And Cernan. CERN. On Apollo 17, there was last two men to walk on the moon. 172. Apollo 17, 2 men to walk on the moon. 172. In the same year, 1972. Right? Where's my little thing there? There it is. 1972. So last man to walk on the moon. And his name was, and Gene, what else can we connect Gene to? Hold on. 1972, the first recombinant DNA. The first recombinant DNA. And what is DNA? DNA is part of your genes. 1972, that's when they discovered that they could, you know, their first recombinant DNA. Which means that they were able to, God, that whole thing could be all connected to the whole thing with the draconium. That's just insane. Changing genetics, right? Being able to take DNA and rearrange it and change it. Your genome, right there. See? Genome. 1972. People think I'm fucking crazy. 1972. Gene. 1972. CERN. 1972. CERN. 1972. And Atari, which is also 1972, which looks just like the Atari logo for Fermilab. And like, I can just keep going on and on and on. There is no denying that looks, and I didn't think about it until after I got there, and I was trying to wait, and as I was leaving, and I was thinking, I was like, you know what? That building looks familiar. What does that look like? And I was like, oh my fucking God, that looks just like the Atari logo. Do you see this? This right here. See that? See that goes there, and then the one in the middle? Look. What are the odds? And like, I can keep continuing down this because all this shit is all connected. The whole thing to the entire time hack, the whole thing to, you know, people will say we live in a simulation. Yeah, there's definitely a simulation going on. I don't know if it's just a simulation, it's natural reality with a simulation. I don't know if I'm just talking to myself in a simulation, that there is nobody else and really it's just me. I don't know, because how is it fucking possible that nobody else has picked up on this? It's just not possible. These things are too easy to connect. You know, gene, the DNA, you know, and then gene CERN, and then CERN, 1970. It's like, come on, in Atari, and then they make the logo, they make the building look like the Atari logo. This is not a stretch. This is not like some like far off stretch. And it's all, you guys can all research it yourselves. You can look at it yourselves. And by the way, while I've been here in this little town, where you know, I talked to a couple of locals before I left over there, you know, just asking like if there's any caves or anything like that close by and stuff. And everybody around here is fucking weird. This town, everyone here is just really like they're just weird as shit. Now all of a sudden there's Microsoft recommends editor spelling. What? What do you mean recommends editing spelling? I don't need no editing spelling. Get the hell out of here. It's all weird, but yeah, this is... I mean, it's all... You guys can research it all for yourself. And if you go to Fermilab, and let me see here. You go to Fermilab, they tell you on their website that there is that they do tours. .gov. There it is. There it is. Let's see, are they going to show the figure 8? (1972) Atari. Oh, this shows you the inside. Shows you whatever. Yeah, I'm fucking crazy. So I was looking up Fermilab, the one that's here, and I went to YouTube, typed in, you know, 1972 Fermilab, and this is what comes up. These videos. So, and there you go, you know, the big Atari video, a big Atari there. So I watched this video first. This guy's very weird. Here you go. Stupid ass music. Listen to the weird shit he says.
They interact very rarely, and yet they're everywhere. They're ubiquitous. Whether it's coming from the cosmos or coming from man-made sources here on Earth, they play a key role in processes all around us. I also love them because of the weird things that we have to do to study them. We have detectors for neutrinos at the South Pole, deep under the ocean, deep in mines, and close up against reactors. We get to do some really odd things in order to understand this fundamental component of the particle physics world.
So yeah, you said about doing weird things and stuff about space and whatever. So and then after I watched that one, I was like, okay, what's this? You know, this one, 50 years of Fermilab, right? Check this out. 2017.
The last 100 years have been truly incredible.
Before we get started with this guy here, this freak show. All right, so 2017, if you don't know, I'm sure you already know, is when everything happened. That's when the Draconian came to me. That's when Oumuamua came here. That's when the government came out and actually said that, yeah, there are unidentified flying objects. We don't know what they are yet. People were sitting there bitching about, oh, we're not getting full disclosure. That should have been enough, but that's just not enough. People still just go about their day, even though the government, you know, of all these years of keeping it quiet since Project Blue Book and Harry Truman's bullshit with covering everything up. You know, so anyhow, 2017, yeah, Fermilab had a big deal too. Why? Because of this.
Advances in science and technology have revolutionized our world. We can cure deadly diseases, and humans have walked on the moon. These successes have been made.
Yeah, see, he talks about walking on the moon. When's the last time they walked on the moon? Oh, I don't know. 1972, when this lab, when the CERN, this Fermilab, the CERN there, when it came alive. So you had to slip that in there, right?
Made possible
and Gene Cernan, CERN.
because researchers have asked and answered scientific questions. The deepest scientific questions ever asked, ones that explore the deepest laws of nature, were worked out in the past century at a handful of laboratories sprinkled across the globe. These facilities are all amazing places, but one of them is having a special year. Why is this a special year? It's because it's Fermilab's 50th anniversary. The Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory, or Fermilab for short, is America's leading particle physics laboratory. It all started on June 15, 1967, when the original Fermilab employees reported to the office for the first time. With that humble start, Fermilab has become one of the most influential laboratories on the planet. Located about 40 miles west of Chicago, it sits on 6,800 acres of land. It hosted the Tevatron, the world's most powerful particle accelerator, for about a quarter century. Data taken using the Fermilab Accelerator Complex has resulted in over 25,000 papers and over 2,000 PhD theses, including mine. Important parts of the standard model were discovered at Fermilab, including the top and bottom quark and the tau neutrino. And that's just Fermilab's first half century. While the Tevatron ceased operations in 2011.
So 1972 was when they closed out with the Higgs, okay? And I should have brought that. I'm not going to go through, but I should have brought that up so you guys can actually see it. 1970. Oh, hold on. And here you go. Right there. The Higgs boson is an elementary particle, blah, 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 1972. That's what I see. 1972. And then there's this guy.
The research didn't just stop. In fact, Fermilab's current program may well be richer and more diverse than ever. Fermilab is playing a crucial role in the search for dark energy and dark matter, two substances that make up 95% of the matter and energy in the universe. Fermilab employs more scientists working on the CERN Large Hadron Collider than any institution other than CERN itself. A Fermilab scientist is even leading this.
I'm not saying they're doing sinister stuff there, but what I am saying is they are definitely part of the time hack of this unnatural reality that I seem to be stuck in. I'm the only person that's... How is it possible? All these fucking people are so smart there, all these PhDs. Oh, we got PhDs. You got PhDs, but you couldn't put all this shit together yourself. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm the only one that sees this shit. It just, and for those people out there go, oh, about the dark matter and that's, that's evil and stuff. Guess what? The universe is mostly dark.
CMS experiment, a group of 3,000 scientists who co-discovered the Higgs boson.
When you close your eyes, it's dark. Does that mean all of a sudden now everything's evil? It's just, whatever. Anyhow, see, look, here you go. This is what's inside of there. Everybody focuses on the Large Hadron Collider over in Switzerland and France. But they got one right here.
And, if that weren't enough, Fermilab is also producing the most intense beam of neutrinos ever made, with plans to increase the intensity even more. There are lots of neutrino experiments currently underway at Fermilab, but the future is the DUNE experiment, short for Deep Underground Neutrino Experiment, and it will dominate the neutrino research world for the next few
ones and zeros, just like a computer.
Decades. Turning 50 might herald middle age for a person, but for a particle physics laboratory, that's just getting started. The second half century will be even more exciting than the first, and the young scientists here with me will be the ones to make it all happen. So please join with me and wish Fermilab a happy 50th birthday.
I just can't even. I mean, stick a fork in me, I'm done. I am so... there's just so much, guys. It doesn't stop, right? I just showed you 1972. Several researchers between about the year 1960 to 1972. Fast forward to 1972 when Lee was whatever. I don't know what the fuck that word is. Whatever. It's. I don't even care. Guess what else? So you've seen what? Wait, here we go. Where is it? The Atari, right? We know what the Firma Lab. Let me just go back here. Look at these wonderful people. Let's go back to the beginning here. Here it is. Right? 1972, remember? Atari 1972. So I look up Atari 1972 in Chicago. And you know how I always show how 1972 and 2020 were connected? Well, guess what? In 2020, Atari decided, 80s video game maker, this idiot wrote 80s, this actually came from the 70s. 80s video game maker Atari plans to open a Chicago hotel with an arcade bar. I'm calling these people idiots because I can't, my reading isn't all that great. With them big words that are bigger than 3 letters, you know. So, and here it is, right? It's the Atari. In Chicago. Atari was created in 1972. CERN 1972. You know. Higgs boson. Oh yeah, and Atari. Who created Atari? Who created Pong? Here we go. Alan Alcorn, right? Alcorn. If you just remove one letter out of there, what do you got? You got Alcor, created in 1972. Alcor. 1972. Alcon. 1972. Released 1972. Alcor, Alcon, Atari. Atari. Firma Labs, CERN. Gene Cernan. Yeah, CERN. CERN. I mean, it just doesn't stop, guys. It just keeps going on and on. Tell me that they wouldn't know. Tell me that Atari wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. Oh, in 2020, we're gonna build an Atari hotel in Chicago, which has, hey, check it out. Sir, how could you telling me that nobody at Atari knows about? I mean, come on. It's all connected, man. Higgs boson, 1972. Attempts rules against naming the Higgs boson after physicists. That's why they call it the God particle. Right? But it's actually a Higgs boson. CERN. Gene Cernan, 1972. 1972. Gene recombinant DNA, 1972. I mean, it just keeps going on and on, guys. You just can't.
I am broadcasting on all AM frequencies. I will be at the South Street Seaport every day at midday when the sun is highest in the sky. If you are out there, if anyone is out there, I can provide food, I can provide shelter, I can provide security. If there's anybody out there, anybody, please, you are not alone.